What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Southern Tier Brewing Company, and they're out of Lakewood, New York, and this is their Ruby Red Surf. So they're calling this one a summer wheat ale, and on the side of the can it says ale with a natural flavors. It comes in at 5% alcohol by volume, 15 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this can is, but it does have a best by date of January 2nd of 2024. We're about 6.5 months away from that date, so this should be relatively fresh. Now, I picked up the Southern Tier Summer Wheat Ale Variety 12-pack this year. It includes 4 different beers, 3 of each. Their Mango Rays, their Blueberry Sea, and their Raspberry Shine. Now, about week and a half ago or so, I did review the Mango Rays and I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.75. I thought it was pretty good, and that is the only beer in the variety pack that is sold as a standalone beer. It's definitely like their spring, summer seasonal. You can get it in 6-packs, 12-packs, and it was pretty solid. I enjoyed the mango flavor. It wasn't too artificial tasting. So this is a Ruby Red Grapefruit wheat ale, basically. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how this one is. I feel like this one is going to kind of rival Genesee Brewing Company's Ruby Red Kolsch, which is a Ruby Red Grapefruit Kolsch. Now, this is obviously a wheat ale and not a Kolsch, so it's going to be different from that aspect. But I'm curious to see how similar they are or how different they are. I'm just hoping that, you know, the fruit flavor comes off a little bit more natural. And it kind of did in the taste for that Mango Rays. It definitely had more of like a mango vibe to it than anything else. It wasn't like super candied. In the nose it was, on the taste, not as much. So I'm hoping that kind of falls through here. So did I say falls through or follows through? Anyway, yeah, it has a, it's going to look darker on camera, but in person it has this nice kind of golden yellow color, a little bit of like an orange tinge to it. Had about a finger of a bright white soap sudsy looking head that is now dissipated to a thin film, probably because of the natural flavors. I don't know. But yeah, it's crystal clear. You can kind of see through it, a little bit of chill haze. But outside of that, looking nice in the hashtag proper glassware. This is an old glass. I think I got this like 2011 or 12. But anyway, let's get a nose. Oh, that's actually, wow, nice. Yeah, it just has a very subtle and kind of nuanced Ruby Red Grapefruit, sweeter grapefruit, pink grapefruit, a little bit of like a sweeter grapefruit nose, but not candied like the Mango Rays was. A little bit of that weedy malt sensation on the nose as well. Wow, super simplistic. Ruby Red Grapefruit and wheat. Who would have thought a Ruby Red summer wheat ale? But really, the nose, I could sit here probably for another 3 minutes and probably not get anything else out of it. I will say that I'm happy the nose isn't artificial. It's not candied. It's not over the top. This seems like it could be a winner. We'll see. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. That is very akin to the Ruby Red Kolsch from Genesee, like in that wheelhouse. The taste, it does have a great, lovely kind of like Ruby Red Grapefruit finish on it, on the back of the throat. Let's go body and mouthfeel. Body's lower side of medium body. It's a little bit heftier than I thought, 5%. It's fine. Still, you know, light enough where it's crushable. The mouthfeel, it's moderately carbonated, has a nice crispness to it, but it's pretty smooth going down. So body and mouthfeel are pretty nice for 5%. The taste, again, very simplistic. And I feel like this pack, it's going to be simplistic. You're going to have this, you know, probably wheat ale base that they have for all 4 of them, just with like, you know, some kind of fruit flavor on top of it. The Blueberry Sea will have blueberry, and the Raspberry Shine will have raspberry, obviously. And that's kind of what you're getting here. In front of the palate, I get a little bit of like a light weedy kind of sensation, like a malt character. Dives underneath the palate, omnipresent, but always underneath that grapefruit. And honestly, from front to back, it's grapefruit. Up front, it starts out a little bit sweeter, like a sweeter grapefruit, like you had a Ruby Red Grapefruit with a little bit of sugar sprinkled on top. But as it transitions through the palate, that sweetness starts to dissipate and it becomes more zesty and zippy on the palate. And then on the finish, I get this nice like rindy, slightly bitter grapefruit, and it's pretty nice. Finish is semi-dry. There's no real bitterness other than, again, that little bit of that rindy, like very mild bitterness. I will say for me, and this might be different for you, I think this might be a little bit sweeter than the mango rays personally. I didn't anticipate that. I feel like it has a little bit more sweetness. I guess I would have to do side to side to really compare. The mango, sure, the mango was candied in the nose, and on the palate it did have a little bit of that candied mango. But I thought like the finish was a little bit more balanced. This is a little bit sweeter than I would have thought for a Ruby Red Grapefruit wheat ale. Don't get me wrong, it's not crazy sweet, it's not over the top. It's still very crushable, and you could drink, 3, 4, 5 cans of this, although you only get 3 in the variety pack. I will say this, I think I like the mango rays a little better. Why? I like mango more than I do Ruby Red Grapefruit. But I think if you're somebody who buys this pack because you want to try 4 different fruited wheat ales, it's a reasonable price and you just kind of want to try them. If you like Ruby Red Grapefruit, I think you'll enjoy this one. To me, it's not fake, it's not candied, it's not artificial. It definitely has a natural kind of taste to it, and I enjoy that. And 5.0%, you can't taste any alcohol, and you're probably not going to with any of these. We'll see, but it's doubtful. So I'm going to give this a slightly lower rating than I gave the Mango Rays, but I still think this is pretty good. Is this as good as Genesee's Ruby Red Kolsch? No. Why? I think the Ruby Red Kolsch, the base Kolsch, I enjoy, and I get more from the base beer in that beer than I do in the base beer in here. Now, again, you're comparing apples to oranges. Yeah, they both have Ruby Red Grapefruit, but that is a Kolsch. This is a wheat ale, definitely different, and I prefer a Kolsch over a generic wheat ale. If you follow the channel, you know I'm not a huge fan of, especially American wheat ale, so I usually give the Ruby Red Kolsch like a round of 4. This is going to get a little bit lower than that as well. So Ruby Red Surf from Southern Tier, I'm going to give this a low 3.75. I'm going to go 3.65. I think that's a fair score for this. Again, I think I like the Mango Rays a little bit better, but only because I like mango more than this, and I thought that was a little bit more balanced. I don't know, I'd have to go look at the review, but I don't remember saying anything about it being like, overtly sweet or anything. So price point availability, I paid here in the Buffalo, New York area, I paid $17.99 for the 12 pack, so $1.50 a can, pretty good deal. Now in your neck of the woods, it could be a buck or two cheaper, it could be a buck or two more. I did see it at another place here in the area, and it was like $20.99, so a little bit more expensive, obviously, $3 more. But $1.50 to $1.75 a can is not a bad price to pay, especially if you want to check out all 4 of them. My recommendation would be if you could get singles of all of them, go that way, just because you might not want 3 of every single beer. And availability, listen, I should probably just stop doing availability on the channel because I can only speak to what I see here in the Western New York area, more specifically Buffalo, New York. You can pretty much get this all around town here in Buffalo, and I'd imagine out to Rochester and down to the Southern Tier and whatnot. If you're outside of Western New York, I don't really know. So let me know if you see this in your area. I would assume you'll probably see the variety pack at some point if you already haven't, because the Mango Rays you should see by itself. That is, again, the spring, summer seasonal for Southern Tier, so that should be everywhere you see Southern Tier beers. This might be hit or miss, but if you do see this one, let me know, and let me know the price point. Also, if you pick this up, let me know what you think about this one. I'm really curious to hear other people's opinions, especially if you've had the Genesee Ruby Red Kolsch and this. How do you compare the two? Again, I like the Ruby Red Kolsch a little bit more, but this isn't a bad offering. It really isn't. So far, the Southern Tier pack 2 for 2. Definitely better than the Oberon Variety 12 pack that I am 3 beers in, and I would say I would never buy that pack again. So far, I might repurchase this down the line. Who knows if they release it. Anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.